On the wings, we're going to push him to the elbow, and we're not going to let him drive to the baseline.
Goes down the lane, hard to the basket, up he goes, down he goes, a shot.
Number two, when he's on top, we're going to influence him to his left.
The Pistons will force him to come to the middle of the floor off the dribble, trying to get help from the next defender.
When he got the ball in the low post, we're going to trap him from the top.
Isolation play for Jordan. And Isaiah Thomas ties him up.
What happens when he does make the baseline?
We knock him down to the ground.
And as you can see, bleeding quite a bit.
Jordan just, and Jordan goes down hard and he looks hurt.
Spider-Man had Uncle Ben, Superman had his kryptonite, and, well, Michael Jordan once had the Bad Boys and Detroit Pistons. The greatest challenge in Michael Jordan's heroic career was the villains who made Jordan release the beast within, the antagonists who started the legendary tale of his airness. No team in history has ever beaten Michael Jordan 3 times in the postseason. How did they do it? And how did the Great One trample on the Bad Boys in Michigan? In today's video, we're going to walk you through how Jordan overcame the mighty Bad Boys. In 1984, the Chicago Bulls were a sorry franchise. Since 1978, the Bulls had made it to the playoffs once, in 1981, when they got swept by the Boston Celtics. The Bulls were in dire need of a superstar. Back in the late 1970s and early 1980s, superstars dictated the NBA. With the likes of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Wes Unseld, Julius Erving, and Wilt Chamberlain, the only player the Bulls got who was closest to being a superstar was Artis Gilmore. But yeah, he cannot bring the Bulls anywhere near their goal, a championship. In the 1983-1984 season, the Bulls plummeted to their lowest, winning only 27 games, granting them the 3rd pick in the 1984 NBA draft. With the city of Chicago completely buzzing about this phenom in North Carolina, and the Portland Trail Blazers completely fumbling the bag, the Bulls got their star, Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
Five have Steve Kerr on the floor for the first time. Michael fades and fires.
Moving the baseline. Good! 4-on-2, Michael Jordan. What a move! Gordon goes in for a shot, and he jams it over J.B. Carroll. And
Pippen gets it to Jordan. Michael challenges and slams.
From the get-go, you just knew that Michael Jordan was a superstar. The high-flying dunks, the finesse, the smooth jump shot, the out-of-this-world layups. Michael Jordan instantly became a crowd favorite, not just in Chicago, but in every arena he played in. Jordan averaged a ridiculous 28.2 points per game in 52% field goal shooting and won the Rookie of the Year award. In his second year, however, he went down with a foot injury that sidelined him almost the entire season. In the 1986-1987 season, though, a fresh, rested Michael Jordan was now ready to take the league by storm. And so he did. Air Jordan was absolutely ready for takeoff. Jordan proved that he was a different breed, averaging 37.1 points per game, lifting this sorry Bulls team to 6th place. Their prize? A date with the mighty Boston Celtics in the first round. MJ played his heart out, including a 63-point outburst in Game 2.
Oh, the game by the Bulls.
Jordan trying to fake Bird, can't do it.
Trying to Michael Jordan right now.
10 points in this period for Ainge, and what a great shot.
To foul that time.
Jordan cuts the Celtic lead to 2 out of the last game. Here he is, the move and the basket. 3 on the shot clock. Jordan, basket, good, and a foul with 8 on the clock. Jordan ties the game.
Oh, boy.
63 points, and you're looking at an all-time record.
Oh, boy.
Michael Jordan.
That was a fantastic move.
But it just wasn't enough to beat this Celtics super team. With the Celtics core getting old, the East was very much free for the taking. Everybody was talking. It's just a matter of time for Jordan to take over. But the Bulls can't build a roster fitting for MJ. It was all MJ. In the 1987-1988 season, MJ averaged 35 points per game. Was he the Bulls' leading scorer? A guy named Sam Vinson played 29 games and was averaging 13 points per game. Despite that, the Bulls earned a 3rd seed in the East. For Michael, it doesn't matter. If 40 was not enough, he's gonna drop 50. He's gonna do it by himself. He's the league MVP after all. In the 1988 playoffs, Jordan was a sensation. While Jordan and the Bulls might be already preparing to face the Boston Celtics, a new challenger arrived. The infamous hard-nosed bad boys down in Detroit, Michigan, with their star, Isaiah Thomas. The Pistons got themselves a squad. Their roster was deep. Enforcers like Bill Laimbeer and Rick Mahorn, flamethrowers in Joe Dumars and Vinnie Johnson, a matchup nightmare in Adrian Dantley, and of course, a floor general in Isaiah Thomas. And oh, don't forget the young worm, Dennis Rodman. This Pistons squad emerged as the favorites to dethrone the Celtics in the East, winning 54 games in the regular season, earning them the 2nd seed. For Jordan, it was just another step in the right direction. But little did MJ know, he's going in against these villains who have nothing to lose. Jordan even scored 59 and 61 points against these guys in the regular season. What's stopping him from doing that again? Well, Jordan rules. After Jordan dropped 59 points against the Pistons, Detroit head coach Chuck Daly took it personally and devised a plan that would limit Jordan's effectiveness in any game. The strategy was simple: to play him tough, to physically challenge him, and to vary its defenses so as to try to throw him off balance. The Pistons were not trying to keep the ball off Jordan. They wanted him to have it. The idea by Chuck Daly was not to hurt him, but to wear him down completely. Sometimes they would play him straight up. More often, they would run a double team at him as soon as he got the ball to force him to go left, which he was less successful at doing. Jordan was fierce and competitive. He never wanted his opponents to think that they were good enough to affect him or his play. And it definitely got him. Winning the psychological battle against Jordan was as important as winning physically. The Pistons would also target Jordan defensively. Whoever Jordan was guarding on defense would definitely get the ball, making Jordan work extremely hard on both ends of the court, increasing his fatigue level and rendering him less effective. The goal was not to immobilize him. Chuck Daly and the Pistons knew that Jordan could still get 30 any single day. The goal was to wear him down, even if it was just 5 or 10%. And in the 1988 playoffs, it sure was on full display.
Jordan has not been an offensive force in this game.
We are playing them entirely different today, more double teams in different positions, and we're much more aggressive.
On the switch, Jordan, guarded by Laimbeer. No easy layup.
This is the Jordan rules. If Michael was isolated, we forced him to dribble the ball to the middle of the floor.
They can go left. Go left.
If he was in the middle of the floor, we forced him left. The nearest defender would run and double team him.
You hit him on screens every time to wear him down. Every time he drove, you sent 3 or 4 people at him.
Jordan, blogger.
Every time he came in that lane, he was boom.
And that's what we're talking about when the Pistons want to make Jordan pay whenever he gets in the paint.
With Jordan averaging 45.2 points per game in the first round against the Cavs, the Pistons limited Jordan to 27.4 points per game. You might say it's still 27 points per game, but on Jordan's terms, well, yeah, not enough. The Pistons constantly wore him down in the last 3 games. MJ was just shooting 44% from the field. Don't get it wrong, it was still impressive numbers, but for Jordan, he knew that was not enough to bring Chicago a championship, as Detroit absolutely dismantled them 4-1. The next year, the Bulls somehow managed to get worse, winning 47 games and earning a 6th seed in the East. Jordan's still playing out of his mind, averaging 32.5 points per game. In the playoffs, the Bulls weren't expected to make it deep, but when you've got MJ on your team, anything's possible. With an iconic shot against Craig Elo and the Cavs in the first round and a dominating performance against the New York Knicks, Jordan and the Bulls once again punched a ticket against their new rival, the Detroit Pistons. The Pistons were reinforced, they were hungrier, and they were better, finishing with the league best 63 wins. Jordan certainly did not forget the whooping the Pistons gave him and the Bulls last year as he came out swinging. The mediocre Chicago Bulls were ahead 2-1 after a Game 3 explosion from Michael Jordan, who dropped 46 points, his playoff career high against the Pistons.
10-7 Detroit. Here's Jordan. Basket counts. Let's see what Jordan does. That's what he does.
College level, so playing a guy as big as Michael Jordan is not going to bother him much.
Jordan, foul, gets the basket. Not been at full strength. Jordan moving around Edwards. Basket counts and a foul. Under a minute now, and 9 on the shot clock. Jordan pumps and scores. How did he do that? 5 seconds to go. Jordan off the glass. Yes!
All the way around.
They don't have the luxury of a timeout. Dumars for 3, goes for the winner. It's over. Chicago wins.
It seemed like he solved the Jordan rules. Or maybe not. The fatigue, either mental or physical, caught up to Michael. In Game 4, he was limited to 23 points in 33% shooting. And in the crucial Game 5, he was limited to just 18 points, putting up only 8 shots, his fewest shot attempt in a playoff game, until the day he retired. The Pistons rode the momentum and sent the Bulls home in Game 6, then proceeded to win their first ever championship. The Pistons, with their core intact, were just too much for Michael, who still hasn't had that good supporting cast that he could rely on. In the 1989-1990 season, though, the Bulls felt that the narrative was changing. Scottie Pippen, who was in his 3rd year, was starting to blossom into a star, alongside the young, fierce Horace Grant. Oh, and they've hired Phil Jackson as their new head coach. Phil Jackson incorporated an offense called the Triangle Offense, which integrated the whole team into the offense, not just Michael. The Bulls showed dominance, which still relied on MJ's explosive scoring despite having an offense that relieved him some of the offensive burden, as they finished the season with 55 wins, their best in almost 2 decades. And for the 3rd straight year, MJ and the Bulls were facing the now defending champion Detroit Pistons. This time, Jordan made sure that he wouldn't go down without a fight. The Pistons took the first 2 games, but Jordan absolutely lit the Pistons in Games 3 and 4, dropping 47 and 42 points respectively, putting on a masterclass.
Great game by Michael Jordan again. Jordan rules tonight instead of the rules are against Jordan.
These 2 rivals split the next 2 games, giving way to their first Game 7 showdown. Well, did we just say showdown? More like a meltdown. At the end of the day, it was still all Jordan doing the heavy lifting for the Bulls, as they got completely outclassed in Game 7. MJ put up 31 points out of Chicago's 74. Phil's triangle offense was not ready for Detroit. Well, for the bad boy Pistons, they went on and claimed their 2nd straight NBA championship. The narratives about Jordan's career quickly changed. Questions were raised. Can he ever give Chicago that elusive championship? Is his style of play not winning basketball? Can he get over the fortified defenses of Detroit? Jordan definitely heard all the noise. In that offseason, he worked his body to its limits, hitting the weight room, preparing his mind and body for an all-out war. Jordan was not particularly fond of his new head coach, Phil Jackson, who was trying to get the ball off his hands. But in their 2nd stint together, he learned how to incorporate his vicious, unrelentless style of basketball into Phil's teamwork brand of basketball. And in the 1990-1991 season, the Bulls were more than ready for a war. Michael Jordan still led the league in scoring with 31.5 points per game, but with Phil's offense, the other rising stars in Chicago started to find their groove. Phil's reinforced triangle offense ranked 1st in the league, as they finished the season with a franchise record 61 wins. But there was only one team in the East that these hungry, raging Chicago Bulls wanted to face: the back-to-back champions, the Detroit Pistons, with a foolproof game plan that was mastered for 2 years. Michael has done a great job blending himself into Phil's triangle offense, getting his teammates involved, and still scoring at will. And in the Detroit series, he did just that. His body was also stronger, his mental fortitude was indestructible, and he would exploit the Detroit defense, which had been heckling him for 4 years. But now, it was not only Jordan that these bad boys Pistons needed to take care of. there was also another star in Chicago by the name of Scottie Pippen. MJ and the Bulls completely derailed the Pistons off their tracks, quickly dispatching them before they could even catch up as they'd swept the defending champions. MJ was still the MVP of the series, averaging 30 points and 7 assists per game, showing immense maturity in his game. Finally, the Chicago Bulls have trampled on the bad boys of Michigan. As they overcame the hump, MJ and the Bulls won their first ever championship, and the new dynasty arose. They said that the bad boys Pistons made Michael Jordan, and well, they were right. Michael Jordan not only became the beast the league feared, but the GOAT. Now it's your turn to share your thoughts. Were the bad boys Pistons Jordan's greatest challenge? Can Jordan win a ring if he beat them in '88 and '89? Leave your comments down below. And as always, thank you for watching.